Hi, I'm Christopher Lodzinski.
And I'm William Rahner.
And welcome to our podcast, Film Talk with Fortnite, where we talk about film while we play Fortnite. In the background, for B-roll.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about films, as per the title of the podcast. Now, I've been watching films for a while, but I've only recently started watching a lot of them. How about you?
I've been watching movies for a very long time. The earliest one that I remember very clearly is 2011. They re-released Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace into theaters in 3D, and I remember going and being blown away because, you know, young me had never seen anything like that in a theater like that before. Yeah, I think it was probably a very formative experience.
So what you're saying is it took you 5 years to watch your first movie?
I guess that is what I am saying.
Well, you know, I think that we're both film majors.
Yeah.
So we've been more introduced to films than, like, a regular person might have. Considering we're not normal. Now, The thing is, we clearly need, like, that difference of opinion and difference of... Different viewpoint, yeah, exactly. Different experience. So, while we are more, quote-unquote, knowledgeable on film, we have a friend who isn't. And we are inviting him here today to talk. So, welcome our good pal, Christian Joseph Deserto.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Now,
Thank you for having me on the show.
of course, thank you for being here. Now, my question for you is, what's one of your favorite movies?
One of my favorite movies? Probably UHF. It's a movie I watched for the first time fairly recently, around last year, and I found it to be very enjoyable.
Yeah.
The Weird Al one?
Yes.
It's a good movie.
Weird Al, yes.
It is a good movie. What was one of your favorite parts?
There's one very specific joke, like visual gag they have in the movie when Weird Al's character, his name is escaping me right now, but he's like, oh man, what time is it? And then an arm like smashes through the wall with a watch on it. It's funnier in the moment, but
yeah, it's hard to explain like jokes verbally.
Like, I'm a big fan of supplies and drinking from the fire hose.
Yeah, I like Michael Richards, I believe his name. He was Kramer on Seinfeld. He's very good in that movie.
Yeah, he plays the guy Stanley Spadowski, and he's like a little Family Guy cutaway.
Yeah, there's a lot of like cutaway gag humor in that movie.
That's true. But
I think it's done well though, and it fits.
It is
100%.
done very well, yeah.
Overall, it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Now, Will, what would you say yours is?
One of mine probably I would say is The Empire Strikes Back. Now, based on my little anecdote, you could probably guess that I'm a very big Star Wars fan. And in my opinion, in terms of movies, the series peaked with Empire. You know, it takes everything that they did well in the first one, and it cranks it up to 11. It expands on all the characters, introduces new dynamics. It's a lot better shot than the first one. There's a lot better visuals. And it has some of the best like set pieces in like an action movie that I've seen, like the final duel between Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and even after that, the big reveal of Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father is like a iconic moment in the history of American film.
Spoilers.
Whoa, yeah, my bad.
Whoa, ass ahoy. But you see, like Empire Strikes Back, it's a really good movie. I liked when all the characters they're going to the, I guess, dining room to eat, and then boom, Darth Vader's right there.
Yeah.
And I think that's just like a really good way to like immediately like raise the stakes to 11, and that's like really good.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, Empire is definitely my favorite Star Wars movie too. It features Darth Vader a significant amount more than the first one, and Darth Vader is my favorite Star Wars character, so I can't complain at all about that.
Yeah, he's like barely in the first one. Like now that when you really think about it,
less than 10 minutes of screen time or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Empire really like shapes him as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like.
What about you, Chris?
Now I'm gonna take a different approach. Now I enjoyed this movie. Would I say it's one of my favorites? No, but I would say it's definitely one of my favorite movie theater experiences.
And the theatrical experience of watching a movie in a theater may just be as important as the quality of the movie. Not really, but should pretend it is for a second.
Or don't. So, that movie is Venom, The Last Dance, the third of the Sony Venom
Oh boy.
trilogy. Now, that sounds bad because it is. But think of it this way. It's a late October day. You woke up extremely early to watch the sunrise on the beach, so you're very sleep deprived. So then you go to school and do karaoke because that's all that was for that day.
Because no one actually showed up to school.
And
It was like testing or something.
yeah. And then you leave around 12 because it was a half day. And then what do? You go with 3 of your best friends and you watch Venom 3, which is a really funny movie when it's not trying to be. And just doing that while being sleep deprived,
I remember
10 out of 10 experience.
I remember from that movie, one of the clearest moments that I remember is like the ending sad montage, and there's a shot of Tom Hardy, just his arm going away and away at a slot machine, and he just stares directly into the camera. I lost my mind when that
While
happened.
Memories, Bring Back You is playing in the background, and it's just a perfect scene.
Perfect storm.
Just a
I
perfect
think
shot.
Also, something that adds to the comedy of that scene is that it flashes back to scenes that we saw like less than 5 minutes ago within the movie.
Yeah.
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 And the last shot, technically, is New Jersey.
Yeah, that's our home turf.
That's the perfect way to end that movie.
Yeah.
Something
Man.
about Spider-Man, I think.
Man.
But, that's one of my favorite movie theater experiences. So, thank you, Christian, for coming to talk about, just your favorite movies.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Of course, it was a real honor to have you on.
Thank you.
So, thank you again, and see you around.
All right. Anytime.
Of course. So yeah, that was Christian Joseph Deserto, our good friend. And, talking about our favorite films and stuff like that, it's got me thinking about how much I appreciate the art form and how much I enjoy making them. And, something that's been rising a lot lately and becoming more prevalent is AI. And, a lot of people, filmmakers, film majors, and actors alike are all worried that it's going to replace them. So do you think that it's going to fully replace them in the future?
I don't know if it is going to fully replace them. I think that they will try, and by that I mean like the studio heads.
Yeah.
Because the thing about AI is it is, objectively speaking, cheaper.
Yeah.
And that's all they care about. They don't care about film as an art form. Their job is to make money. Their only interest is to make money. So despite the fact that they would be cutting out what makes film and art in general special, that human touch that makes it personalized, they don't care. I mean, you look at Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. He's not a film executive by any means, but he's in this new film, Marty Supreme, and he was saying that they should have just replaced all the extras with AI because it would have been cheaper. They already are trying to replace artists, people involved in the filmmaking process with AI. I can see them trying to upscale it to a much higher degree in the future.
Yeah, now this is more TV, but Marvel Secret Invasion, it had a completely AI intro for the most part. And then the new Wonder Man show also has some AI usage on some props. And now
and even that's a very small usage but that still does put many people who would have been working on designing that intro or those props in the show out of jobs.
Yeah, and Coca-Cola and even Toys R Us, sadly, are going fully in on AI-generated commercials. But I personally believe that even if the studios lead more into the AI territory, I think that it'll be more like the death of the studio more so, but the rise of indie films and indie studios and more things like that. I think that's where we're headed. I think we're heading towards more of a, and that's actually pretty good. I think it's heading to more of a place where we're more free and not as confined to what the studio wants, and we don't have to follow as many restrictions that executives say in place. You can't do this, you can't do that. You'll be more open to that.
I see where you're coming from, but I also feel like in terms of the studios collapsing, I feel like most viewers of movies don't really care what they watch. I mean, as long as it has recognizable faces and an IP attached that they like, I feel like most people will watch it, no matter if it uses AI or not. Which is unfortunate to say, but I feel like that is the case.
I can see that, but at the same time, it's like people nowadays are already complaining that they don't make films the way they used to. So just imagine that with already human-made films. Imagine that with actual, like, completely made by machine without any, like, real actual knowledge of how to do it and what makes it good. So it would be even worse for them, and then they'd probably stop, hopefully, watching them.
Yeah, I'm thinking of an interview I saw with, I believe it was George Clooney, where he was being asked about, like, the concept of an AI actor, and he said, no matter how advanced the AI is, you can't capture the charisma of a movie star with a computer. And people will be able to notice that, I feel. As much as I was, dogging on the general consumer just a couple minutes ago, I feel like people would notice a change.
Yeah, I think people notice when lines are flat by a human person. I just like imagine that with a machine. Now, I don't agree with George Clooney on like Batman and Robin, but I think that he's right with that. Like, you can't replicate that with...
You can't replicate humanity with a machine.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, I think that in the long run, we're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Short term, it's going to be a little scary, but I think it'll all even out.
I think the best thing we as a consumer can do is vote with our wallet. If we see something in a movie that we can tell is AI or we can tell is just like artificial, then we can just not watch it. And I think that's a hard thing to ask of people on a wide scale, because a lot of people just don't care. But I feel like if enough people do it, it would make a difference, because that's the only language these people understand is money. So if you affect the money, you affect them.
Yeah, hopefully when Woody has like 2 heads in Toy Story 7, they acknowledge that something's wrong there. And yeah, there's hope.
Yeah.
And so we're probably fine in the long run with AI.
Yeah.
And so that leads us to our next topic.
The internet.
The internet and you. And I think that the internet has been growing, obviously, every day. And people have been sharing their ideas. And it's become a real place for people to put their stuff out there, whether it's their own short films that they've directed or acted in, and just their own music even.
Yeah, even
and,
like we, first, like, school projects.
Yeah, film majors. We've done it.
Posted it to YouTube.
Yeah, and, maybe not everyone sees it, but it's still getting it out there for people to watch. And that's something special. So we've brought in another one of our good pals who has his own short films that he is directing, Desmond Cherico. Welcome,
hey.
Welcome, Desmond.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
We're doing well.
Good.
Welcome to Film Talk with Fortnite.
Okay, yeah. Great to be on.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about social media being a place where people can like readily post their things and people can find those things?
Well, it's a little tough. You gotta make sure you have so many people from your community within your following, and within like they're following you too, because otherwise you're just reaching out to people who can never be in your films. But once you meet people, and once you have enough people in your periphery, it will be going out to those who will be interested. And especially if you're a very focused director, that's all you're going to have is potential actors.
Yeah, I think
DMs are always super huge. I mean, DMs are just great.
Oh, yeah,
I
for
use
sure.
them more than I use iMessage.
I think that being able to, that you actually raised a good point I didn't even think about. Like, just, it's not only getting your stuff out there, it's being able to be getting things back from the people that you want to see it, that you want to be able to then collaborate with and make future things with. That's a really good point, Desmond. Will?
Yeah.
I remember in my intro to the film class, we talked about indie cinema and how Hollywood used the whole indie scene to find new talent. Like, I believe Quentin Tarantino and Paul Thomas Anderson are 2 very big examples of like 90s indie filmmakers that got brought into the wider Hollywood scene. And we talked about some of the ways to experience indie cinema, being like film festivals, private screenings. But I feel like we can add the internet to that roster of places for it to be shown, because that is just a person or a group of people making a film and just putting it out there to a smaller audience than would be a Hollywood film, but it still is getting out there.
Yeah. And new talent, like that's a lot of new talent are younger people, so it's a great place for them to. It's just a great thing for younger people in like newer generations. It's a chance for them to be able to get their things out there when normally people would want like to look for people with a lot of experience. But if you can find just a young person who has tons of experience in this field, that's something that you need to, I guess, pounce on quickly, because if you can recognize their talent, who knows who else can.
It may also be a good idea to use, like, some of these platforms have ads that can even be made local. Like, I consistently get this ad, Clifton residents looking for jiu-jitsu, and, like, I get that one over and over ever since I came here. And it's super effective. Like, you know, I'm somebody who would likely go if it weren't for my schedule. So that, even though I'm not signed up there or anything, it's still a good example.
Yeah, like, I think the concept of spinjitzu is really good.
That's nice, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw another one who's like, if you live in Clifton and you're looking for rage bait lessons, I guess that one hit you, right?
No, that one's not me. You know, it would be interesting, but I, like, again, as you're saying, local stuff, you're putting things out there for people that you can possibly collaborate with, and I just think that's something that's really important, especially now, and especially, like, back in 2020 with COVID, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't go anywhere. So you couldn't, like, meet people the way that you normally would. So just having your stuff being able to be online puts, like, so much pressure off you to, like, get people to see it.
Like networking and stuff like that.
Yeah, like networking,
It's a very easy way to build a larger community.
Yeah. 100%. So, yeah, thank you, Desmond, for coming on and talking about the internet.
Nice. Yeah, love it. Yeah. Also, for the record, I said jujitsu. Jiu jitsu.
Thank you again. It's been great. See you around.
See ya.
Peace.
All right. Turn it off, but don't hang up.
Hey, all. As you know, I'm Chris.
And I'm Will.
And thank you for coming to the first episode of Film Talk with Fortnite.
Yes, thank you for listening to us discuss films.
And AI.
And the internet.
And our favorites.
And also Venom 3.
It's been a pleasure, but we're a little over time by at least 3 times. So, thank you again. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Me